Yeah. Oh, it's a service. Yep. Got flex on them now.
At 6.
6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with a pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, if you would please, roll call.
Doug,
Here.
Karen, John,
Here.
Jerry, Mike.
Here. All 5 present. Let's see, I think I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Second.
Karen,
John, aye. Jerry, aye.
Mike, aye.
Motion carries with 5. We'll open with citizen comment. Anybody care to address the council for any matters on the agenda tonight? Hearing none, we will move along to the consent agenda. There's discussion, we can have that now. Otherwise, we'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. Karen.
Karen.
John, aye. Jerry, aye.
Mike, aye.
Motion carries with 5. Peosta Community Center update. Director Bauer.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions on my update?
What are the memberships compared to last year?
Lower. I want to say last year's like 620. So it's still floating a little below, but still optimistic after summer. Summer it always dips. So I'm hoping that come fall, winter, it picks back up.
I had a conversation with Stacy today. I was approached by some people about pickleball courts outside. I don't know if that's something we want to thoroughly go after. Is that something we want to play with? Is that we would? That's on it. Or?
Good land.
So when we were talking, the 2 locations we threw out, one I threw out was next to the fire station current tennis court, and I don't know if there's enough room there or not. And then we'd also discussed behind, like in between Spiegel and the North Field, like center field-ish, there's some green space back there were the 2 that we talked about. I think if we did it here, access would be the biggest thing. Definitely we need to have a sidewalk all the way back. It is an older demographic, so I don't know if it's ideal, not ideal. It was the only 2 like current land we own that we really came up with.
What would have to happen to use the existing tennis courts for pickleball? I'm not familiar with that.
So yeah, John asked me that question. So what I told him, like we could slap lines on it and we can have a pickle court. What is not accurate is the net size. So the net size for pickleball is essentially shorter and what length and width wise. And so that's where I think pickleballers would have a problem, that unless they want to go out and change the nets every time someone wants to play pickleball, it's not something that you can't use. Can't use the current net that's there for tennis net for pickleball.
Can you help me understand how different they?
Height wise, I'd say inches. I mean, you're probably talking 6-8 inches, which for pickleball is a lot. If you know the pickleballers, it's a lot.
The thought in my mind asking that question is, if we put the lines down, does it at least give them something that they can use? It might not be ideal, but give something to have until we can get something that's maybe more purposeful.
I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? I can tell you we did it in Platteville. They didn't, that happened, what I'm saying happened, which is why they're now building pickleball courts. So is it something better than nothing? We have something downstairs. I mean, it's one thing that, one of the things that John also threw out, like, was if we could go the other way, like instead of using the current net, you putting lines the opposite way, so essentially 2 courts. So instead of the tennis court going this way, doing 2 pickleball courts, one on this side of the net, one on this side of the net, but then they'd have to bring their own portable nets, or we'd have to have portable nets for them. Do you know the dimensions? I don't know if it's wide enough to be able to.
So I guess my question would be, how much parking does the west lot down at the fire station, does that get utilized anymore as far as parking during fire? I don't know, meetings, events? I mean, that's what I'm wondering, would it be feasible to resurface that west side of the building there, the parking area, and I mean, how much use is it gonna get, I guess, is it?
I guess maybe the whole thought about it was just maybe start the conversation now, and see if, is it something we want to not run down the rabbit hole or not?
Is the net adjustable? Can you get a 2-stage net that can go up, down? You don't have to obviously be on the ground for the tennis court.
That's what I had in Coal Valley.
With pickleball? Because I know they had like volleyball where technically you could do it, but I didn't know if they had tennis to pickleball.
And there's
Something to investigate.
So I think what we're doing here is trying to decide, is there a quick, easy answer that's a low investment, we can get something fast, or do we need to put this through the CIP process? Those are, I think, our 2 choices.
Those nets are very cheap. We spent $1,100 to solve the problem. Of course, we went ahead and we filled the cracks, we did a resurfacing, and we restriped the lines, but it was very inexpensive.
That way, if we do it this way, we can figure out the usage,
See how much,
see how much if we need to.
Right.
and it would be nice actually if you did put something over there that's covered in between the fields. It could be utilized for more than just pickleball, you know what I mean? You could take the fence down and use it for different things. You know what I mean? Maybe.
I think anything that involves a new surface is probably gonna go through the CIP process, right? It's not gonna be quick or easy or cheap.
It's not cheap.
If you do it right, I mean, if you do a legitimate pickleball complex, that is where you're talking the big dollars.
Yeah.
So how much is the tennis court fee used?
I think more than anybody thinks, because whenever I drive by, there's people out.
They're down here.
Yeah.
There. Oh, Karen, what does it look like?
You, not necessarily for tennis.
Is there basketball hoops on there? Or
one.
There's one basketball. But and they do get some people playing tennis.
How about parking on the other side? Do you see cars over there at all ever?
I'm thinking the fire station might use that. They use it for that big truck whenever they're doing stuff. But maybe it's not necessary. I think it could be they just use it. But I'd be checking with them before, because I know they use it for something. It's not a real frequent use, but.
Well, once you get up in there, it's kind of hard to back out depending on how you park it there somewhere.
That's all I have.
All right, did you get what you were looking for with that, John? Yep. Stacy, you good?
What's our plan?
What's that?
What's our plan?
Check on those nets.
See if we could put a 2-stage net in the existing one and maybe add lines. So we could do something quick and easy.
And just resurfaced it, not too long.
And then should we at the same time go ahead and officially get this into the CIP process as well? Try to, so at least gets on the list if somebody asks. we can say we got it.
Thinking about it.
I don't know how many of our pickleball players, of course, maybe we'll get more. It's hot down there. Yeah.
Oh, they're very much a morning crew. It's definitely there. And the weird thing, and I don't know who impressed you, people I know play a lot in Dubuque because they just got the new courts. And so I'm not sure like who's asking you if they're trying to not drive to Dubuque and that's why, and that kind of stuff. I mean, I think changing the tennis court would very much be a Band-Aid. Like we have 6 courts downstairs. It's not uncommon for all 6 of them to be used at once because they come to socialize as well as play. So having 1 court means 4 people, that wouldn't do much for 30.
You start to get a feel of what it.
Correct,
Man.
correct, to see. And it also helped, I mean, it could also go the other way where, no, we don't need a 3-plex, we do need an 8-plex, right? I mean, it could go that way too. So, food for thought.
Yep.
All right, and I do have one other question too, since we talked last about staff wages.
Yep.
How has that been received in your group?
Well, so current staff, obviously they got their wages, all of them were obviously super happy, super appreciative, said thank yous all around. We have since hired 2 front desk people, working on training them. We hire more, we do hire more, but so far so good. So I'm optimistic,
So the
honestly optimistic.
one of the specific intents was to help with pension. I'll be interested to hear of a time
Yeah.
how that works for you. It
And
seems like
we had a couple applications on our desks as we were going through that process. So we haven't really put out there yet because we want to kind of have time to train as well. So
Okay.
we haven't advertised it for me to have a good answer. I don't yet.
Okay, I should say recruitment and
Yeah,
pension.
correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for Stacy?
Oh, I forgot. What do you, $2,000, $2,200 for Google?
Oh, Google Streets. So yeah, so essentially with it'll be on our new website, but essentially, have you ever gone on Google and kind of like looked at hotels or whatever, and we're able to kind of scroll through and walks you through the facility? It was another attempt of ours to market the facility, right? That someone can go online and see the complete inside, take a tour of the facility from Google essentially. And so they came and took pictures of the entire facility to be able to, it's still gonna be like 3 to 4. But to be able to do that.
Are you tying that into hotels and stuff like that?
No, it's just, they use it commonly for hotels as well. It's the only reason I said that, but no, so they went around and tried to sell Peosta, this Google Streets to be able to do it. So when people Google us, this comes up, the first thing that pops up is this, and they can take a tour of our facility. So no, it's very much just for us marketing wise. To do it. Ironically, when they talked to businesses, the last question they asked was, do you have any suggestions for who should have this in your city? He said 90% of the time, they said us. So, I mean, I do think it'll be something that'll be advantageous for us to have, and we'll sell the center.
You know what, consistent with that, when we have events here like the vaccination stuff, I couldn't tell you how many times people's like, I didn't even know this facility existed.
Correct.
Right?
Still, yeah,
Yeah, it's still a pretty well kept secret.
yes.
All right,
The baseball fields, the lights over there.
Yep.
On timers or,
They are not on timers.
I didn't know, I had a couple people call and complain because the lights are on and I was going over there playing.
No one's there. The only thing I can think of, so our concession person is in charge of the lights. The only time that doesn't happen is when Clark or someone for Spiegel is there. It's not uncommon for them to drink in the dugout while the lights are still on. So that would be my guess as to what happened.
Okay.
That they were still there, but not like,
I just figured they was on time.
no. So new Musco lights do have timers, and you can do that, which would be phenomenal. What we have does not. So
is that one of those?
there's that.
Timers, just do it on your app.
Well, so that's the new Musco lights do. So I could, same thing, the place I was before, I could turn them on my phone, turn them off my phone. But yeah, no, these do not have that. You need to do a good old key switch.
Anything else for PCC? Very good. Thank you, Stacy. We'll move on then next to the police department. Monthly report, Chief Comer.
You guys have my report in front of you. I guess the things I can tell you about were STEP. We had it May 24th through June 6th and July 2nd through July 5th. You guys can see the stats for those 2 events that we did for the STEP waves. Also July 4th celebrations. Everything is pretty uneventful for the most part. We did get a couple complaints if you guys were just wondering about that, but very few complaints, but they were taken care of. The COPS grant was submitted, and we're just hoping we get a positive answer on that before October 1st. I think that's when they have to let us know that's when the money is available. So hopefully we'll know soon on that. Other than that, the ATVU TV updates, just had 2 issues with that again on the roadway. And a lot of those issues are just, they're out during daytime hours on the Peosta and Bird Street. So it's not a lot of complaints. It's just, you guys wanted to know the updates on it. So that's about all I got for you.
Were they using that more to go like to compost or something, or were they just going places?
I'm sorry, what?
But the UTVs, were they going like to the compost?
No, they're just out, right? Like, one was at, like, say, 8 in the morning, going to breakfast at Red Roof Diner. Another one going on Burns Road, just going on a joyride, just during 3 o'clock in the afternoon time, something like that. We happen to see them, probably happens more, don't see it, when we're right place, right time for them, or wrong place, wrong time, won't say it.
That's his perspective.
Correct. And we just let them know, what the hours are. A lot of them still don't know the times yet, and we just let them know the times and they move on with their day, so. But very few issues.
I did want to just note your friendly reminder in the newsletter. I thought that was really well done. And for you too, Dean, I think that's really neat to see the directors putting stuff in when it's appropriate. Doesn't have to be every month. But getting your names out in front of the public more so people know who you are, what you do, and giving them something that they may be wondering about. So thanks for doing that. All right, anything else for Chief Comer?
Any word on the new police car?
So Tauke Motors, last time I talked to them, I talked to them on the phone about 2 weeks ago, roughly right after the 1st of July when it was supposed to arrive. They said it's in transit yet, which they don't know what that means yet. It's still being either built or it's still at the factory yet. So I left an email for them 2 days ago and I'm still waiting for a reply back from them on that. I figured it was going to take a little bit extra time just with COVID. Everything's kind of slowed down, but I don't know when it's coming, to tell you the truth. I'm waiting on an answer back if they can give me any kind of estimated time frame right now.
What date did you order it?
When did I order it? 6 months ago-ish.
6 months?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, probably in April. I think it was in April I ordered it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they told me it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks in order for it to get here.
They lied.
It's yours out there.
7 days to get the truck.
Right. So hopefully I'll get an answer from them soon and we'll get it sooner or later.
Very good. Anything else for the police?
Mike, what's AED for new police car?
Yep, so that's the defibrillator, to shock people.
Oh,
We got to outfit the new vehicle for, with these type of items. You're going to see probably a lot more of that stuff. Just the new gadgets that basically it's going to be the extra third car. So you're going to see a lot more of that. We got to get a new medical bag, the AED, just a lot of the extra equipment that's going to go in the new car.
Oh,
Instead of having to transition from one car to the other every shift, you just want all in one. So that nobody forgets anything.
NICC you got that from?
Yeah, NICC, yeah, they give out a pretty good price actually. And normally they're pretty expensive. They're over $2,000 usually. So they give us a pretty good deal on it, I thought.
I learned a lot today.
Why we come to this?
Thank you.
All right, anything else for PD? All right, thank you, Chief. Public Works, Director Ludwig.
Nothing to really add to the report. I just was wondering if everybody noticed the amount of water that we pumped during the month was up.
What's normal?
We were probably up about 1 million gallons.
So from 8 to 9, it's not trivial.
Yeah, about 1.5 million. So, but I mean, I consider it well, considering how dry it was. So, had it stayed dry, it was going to be a concern of ours.
Do we have a limit?
At this point, we don't.
That's revenue,
Absolutely.
as long as it's going through a meter.
Right. I mean, right.
Now,
The thing
wait a
we
minute.
notice is, there's been certain pumps down at the booster station. Most of the water has been consumed over east of Cox Springs, going through the booster station. So there might have been one particular pump in general running about 10 hours versus a couple. On top of the other ones running 2 and 3 versus an hour.
So this, what you're saying is this extra water usage is not related to the other item about fixing a water leak at the salon?
No,
Okay.
no, that was minor.
Be a lot of water.
Yeah, that was actually pretty minor. That was something that was recognized on a Thursday, and due to the fact that it was pertaining to a business, we wanted to give them a little more notice to let their clients know as far as cancellations.
Mhm.
So we didn't fix it until Tuesday, I think it was, or something of the sort. But other than that, the only thing I want to add is that intentions are for River City to come in and start milling on Call Bridge tomorrow to get that resurface done next week. So if anybody knows anybody within the area, just a friendly reminder might help as far as clearing the streets. Doors were supposed to be posted by River City, by the contractor, so whether they did it or not, I'm not sure. Mike and I talked, we'll get up there early in the morning just to make sure that the streets are getting cleared off.
How long a process will it take?
Milling should only take about a day. Don't really, probably 2 days. Could be quick and painless for the most part.
Do the whole thing all the way over?
No, so starting at Maple intersection of Maple, going to the west end, southwest end of Collin. And then Maple north of Collin. And then next year, we're proposed to do Hickory, Elm, and Maple coming out to Birch Road.
This is you said it was River City. They're the ones that do it each season for us,
Yes, absolutely.
part of the maintenance.
Very good. So what were you doing on the intake tops? Just because I saw those.
So replacing them, for the most part, we replaced a section of curb,
Yep.
maybe 10, 15 feet, whatever it may be on either side of the intake tops. What happens if the contractors get sloppy when they do it, they'll put an excessive amount of concrete on the back and the frost gets under them and heaves them. Because on the top section and your walls that are permitted by frost are poured separately,
Okay,
then they heave and they just never come back down to that
okay.
normal.
Good. Okay, thanks.
So we had to replace, on certain ones, we had to replace the tops on them just to drop them down a little bit so we could get fall
Good fall. Yeah,
in our curb line.
thanks. Yeah, I just was curious.
Yep.
Good.
All right. Anything else for Dean?
That temporary driveway, is that going to belong to Ace?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Is that gonna stay there?
It's gonna stay there during construction.
It's not the access point.
It's probably somewhere within the vicinity of the access point, but it's just put there temporarily so that the trucks, when they start adding fill and building that site up, I think they want to bring that site up about 2 feet. And so when they start importing fill into that site, they don't want to actually bounce over that, the actual full curve of it. So they put that there just to soften that approach. But it'll be removed eventually.
First no.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll go.
Or that.
It isn't gonna last very long.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, they're gonna raise that about 2 feet.
That's what they're telling me. Yeah, like I say, I don't know the actual footage on it, but
Looks like
Saying
it's
about
getting started.
pardon.
Looks like they're getting started down there.
Yep, they want to start hauling fill. And weather pending, they're talking storms tomorrow night, so weather pending, but they want to start hauling fill in. I get that site built up.
Do we know
In the
if
next
they're
couple of
putting a turning lane in or not? Do we have any idea?
So, Jacob's firm, B&K, is working on the design plan of the turning lane, yes.
So it'll get done at the same time if it's gonna get done. The same time as Ace goes in.
We're probably gonna be a year behind.
Is the curb gonna move? I mean, Ace is planning for the curb to move if there's another turn lane coming, right?
Yeah, yep,
And that storm sewer is gonna come in afterwards too then, huh? Or
right,
not?
right. Probably next year's project. I don't know if we'll get it in this year or not.
Sorry, I can't really speak to that project. I know the turn lane's under design currently in our office. I've not seen the site layout or plan for the site yet from their developer or consultant. It's a cross-reference.
I haven't seen it either. You've seen it? Site
What?
plan? Site plan?
No. For Ace, you mean?
Jim and I talked about this a little bit this morning, so there's a contact person that I need to reach out to find Sarah Carpenter. I need her contact information so that I can find out where they are with the entire project. So that's kind of where that's lying at.
I'd hate to see them open and then we have to close those lines down.
Right.
That
And
would
that's why we
be-
want to get a jump on it now.
Well, if we still need to do it, I don't know. We don't have as much truck traffic as we had since Southwest Ontario. But it'd probably still be useful.
Get the couple full trucks that go every day, Randolph.
Yeah, we still have trucks, not like what it was. Jeez, used to be a vehicle.
Tracks, actually.
I mean, regardless, that is taken into consideration and corresponds to their site plan as well, so. Both firms, ours and Royal Oaks' firm, are both well aware of
What needs to be done.
what's gonna take place.
You got it under control, right?
But we're not, yeah, the problem is we're not getting a response back from IAW as far as plans and coordination.
That's because they changed their name.
Or Jen, I'm sorry.
Well, I thought they did a study on that 2 years, 4 years ago.
Trying to think, I thought that got it, much, I don't remember what the exact outcome was.
Okay.
The railroad tracks, not to jump course here, but did you see how they're getting rough again? IAW, how long ago was it that we did that? And this was supposed to be a permanent fix because I asked them at the time when we did it, that,
I don't remember how.
with
many-
blacktop, this is gonna,
That was probably only 3
Quite
years.
sure it was in
it wasn't that long ago. for that.
2000 or 2001, Peosta Street was resurfaced and some construction done on, Horsfield had the project. I'm pretty sure it was,
They worked with the railroad, because they closed it down for a day to get in there and redo that whole intersection or that track area, so.
I moved here in 2004 and that repair was done after I moved in.
I was gonna say, it seems to me that there was repairs done after Peosta Street.
So it should be lasting longer than it is.
2013 or 14, I think, maybe later than that.
I think 2013 is probably when it was done.
I don't want to change the subject, but Comelec did get across the railroad this spring, right? That's what they were.
They got their interduct in. I don't know if they got their line across
I
there,
gotta get to my house.
but they got their conduit across
They
there.
get it to your house? I hear there's a lot of complaints, and I says, well, I think it's across the railroad, isn't it?
Yes,
So you do know they got a conduit under it?
yes.
But it was
Okay.
in spring.
I got it.
You can have my internet. Comelec.
So what about this railroad? Is there an action on this?
Well, if there's no warranty given with it, right? 5 years.
I mean, the 2013 project was 8 years ago.
Oh,
Who did it?
was it Jerry?
Huh?
Wasn't that long, was it?
No,
It was a combination with the county, or the city and the railroad. It was a combination project.
Meant the contractor that put it in.
Oh, that's a question, I don't know the answer.
Was it a project that was driven by the city and the railroad participated, or did the railroad pay?
I think the railroad did a lot of it. There was like a that mat put down.
that was
It
really
appears
long.
that Top Grade might have been the contractor.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
It
They
was
did,
less than 8 years ago because we had to take that sidewalk out.
yeah, and kick it over.
That's right. Well,
They didn't do the mat all the way across, they just did where the walk area is.
Sidewalk.
Well, yeah, and they're obviously directed by the railroad, so,
Yeah.
you know, we're at the railroad's mercy.
We will have a CN rep here on Tuesday. Take him over and ask him about it. It's not the right one, but he may be able to help connect us with the right people and we can at least have a conversation about it. Yeah. So I'll make a note to make sure. Are you at the event Tuesday evening, Dean? The open house?
I'm sorry, I didn't know nothing about it.
All right. We can follow up on that later then. You were, when you brought it up, you were talking about the one here at Peosta Street, right? Okay. All right. Anything else for Dean before we go to the contractual payment?
Did you get it?
I got him. Ah, man. I like your optimism when you said him singular.
You've been bothering us the entire time.
Oh, he's been making a few laps over here.
Wow.
All right. Let's move on to the contract payment number 10 for the wastewater treatment facility in the amount of $712. Still progressing as expected, Dean?
Yes.
Recommend approval of the payment?
Yep. Figured everything on the payment is correct.
I'll make a motion for contract payment number 10.
I'll second.
Okay.
Karen, I.
Mike, aye.
Motion carries with 5. Second up is the contractual payment number 1 for the Highway 20 lift station and Force Main project. And we have Jacob here to facilitate that discussion. It's our first one. Tell us what's going
Yeah,
on.
sure. So just to give a general overview or up project. So the contractor has been working through shop drawing submittals with me and Kay. I think we've got just a handful remaining. They, as you probably noticed, they've mobilized some equipment down there, staked out the site. They were intending to start construction this week, but they had a delay of their concrete structures were pushed out 3 weeks. So now they're intending to be on site the first week in August to start construction. We had a progress meeting out on site last week to go through a few things as you was present. All parties went really well. So this pay app is for insurance, bond, and some project management labor from the, I guess, from the get-go of the project.
Any questions for Jacob? If not, we can take a motion to approve the payment.
Make a motion to approve highway lift station payment app number 1.
I'll second.
Okay.
Karen, I.
John, I.
Mike, aye.
Motion carries with 5. Jacob, I do just have a quick question on that. I haven't looked closely. Is there, when they start disturbing the earth, is there a silt fence around that?
There will be.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I had a question. Doug brought up the other day, those old signs that AJ had for Parkview.
Oh, yeah.
Did you talk to Mary Jo?
I did. I was gonna report that out, so thanks for stealing. No, she said that she wasn't sure where they were located, but I sent her an aerial and she said they were gonna send down the maintenance guys to take them down, so.
Perfect. I didn't want to let the excavator pull them up.
No, I guess not.
All right, thanks for taking care of that.
Sure.
That was a good catch. No, you brought that up, didn't you, Doug? Good catch. All right, anything else for Public Works? All right, Jacob, thank you for coming and joining us. Next is administration, which has nothing, and then we'll open it for citizen comment for any items that are on.
I have something to talk about that is out there in the administration. In response to some discussions that the landlords had with water shutoffs, you know, they, et cetera. Doug and I put together some language for the lien exemption, and that will be coming up for your review at the next board meeting. I have a meeting scheduled with Sherry Greenwood. She wanted to get before you, so I told her just to be patient. We've got this language coming up, so I'll run through that with her, and hopefully we can put that to rest.
Good. Being responsive to our constituents. So if you could, I mean, we talked about different methods to manage this. This is about landlords who have tenants paying water bill, right?
Right.
We talked about different methods. Have we converged on a singular solution? Can you?
I think that the language that we have in here will address the issue. The only other thing that we can do, what we did in Coal Valley is that we went in and we just took the meter head off. And that really solves them. It wakes them up and makes them pay for their water bill really quick. But otherwise, we don't have any way to shut these people off. Correct?
We can't shut it off at the
Right,
service line.
at the service line.
So I think one of the concerns was in the office, how do we manage sending the water bill to each of the tenants, knowing when the tenants change? Which path are we headed down with what you're
We're
putting
still
together?
sending it to the landlord. The landlord's gonna have the responsibility to make sure that if they don't sign a waiver, then they're gonna have to put a deposit down. And that deposit is in accordance with Iowa code. We wanted to charge a certain amount, but Doug said we can't do it legally, but I think that will help. And maybe it'll appease Sherry and some of the other landlords until we can continue down that road to see if there's any other options.
So if you said this answer, I'm sorry, I'm not picking it up. Their request was that we would bill the tenant.
That was my understanding what it's gonna be.
Is that what we're going to do?
Okay, we still have time.
Okay,
to move forward.
so be it. It's a work in process.
It is.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Sorry for missing that. It shows the attachment online, but not. Have to use the online. There wasn't anything else I missed, was there?
No.
All right, we'll open it up for citizen comment. Seeing no citizens other than the room, in the room other than Jacob. Want to talk to the council about Jacob? We'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion here. Second.
Jonah.
John, aye.
Mike, aye.
Motion carried with 5. Meeting's adjourned. You were doing. I was. There's all these people coming in. I'm like. Efficient meeting.
Nice work, Jim. I knew you would.